Maybe this could work.
Imagine that this yarn is just a long thing of like straw. I'm gonna stitch it around thread. I'm just seeing if it works, and it is working so far.
So this is how the first attempt turned out. You can see it's a bit rough, a bit like not very neat. But the one that I'm going to teach you how to make today is this one here, which is a bit cleaner, a bit more accurate. From the first hat I probably made about like 7 or 8, but a lot of them did fail. So here are some of the reference images, the ones I use, mostly from the manga and the live action. So if you did want to pause and come back to these, you're more than welcome to do that. And this is the final product, which I'm going to teach you how to make today from all different angles. So we're pretty much just going to start off with a regular like boater straw hat, and we're just going to sketch on the pattern that we're going to be doing the stitching on. So these measurements are subject to change, just because when you do stitch the straw in, it can deform the hat, but it does provide like just a general guideline of like symmetry and where you should be stitching. So as you can see, I divided the brim into 8 different sections, and within these sections there are going to be 4 smaller sections, which is going to make up the stitching pattern of the brim. So for the brim and crown sections, I'm just using this other straw hat that I made as a reference. For the crown vertically, there are 10 sections, which connects to the brim, and for the brim there are 36 sections that run horizontally along the brim. So once you're done giving just a rough mapping out, it should look something like this. And yep, the hat in the background just for reference. So I forgot to mention this, but the straw that I'm going to be using today is raffia. You can pretty much choose any color you'd like. I don't recommend getting it from like cheap craft stores or like hardware stores. I do recommend getting it from like a proper seller who makes like raffia made for stitching, just because the strands are typically longer and a lot easier to work with.
So you're gonna want like a thick sewing needle, like some of you would use for like carpet. Your string, tie a knot like so, just here, so that it provides like a knot. A good way to determine if it's like straight, you go up with the middle and you pull it down. It should be like straight above it. So when you're starting a new stitch and you've got it to the top of the hat, there usually is a knot for when you put it in here. It comes through, you want to make sure that this bit here, like this part of the straw, covers that knot so it doesn't like poke out when you're wearing it on your head. You want to put the needle right back in about here. Pull it through, it should be a nice clean connection. No knot visible on this side or on that side either. And then you just continue the stitch.
The guideline we drew earlier is just a rough kind of estimate of like the symmetry. If you need to, you can draw a new like line in with a marker just to maintain that shape. So the cool thing about straw is it's actually quite malleable, given enough moisture. So you can use steam to reshape the hat like as you please.
So I've already made a fair amount of this connecting bit here, but I forgot to record it, so I'll just demonstrate how to do it here. What you do is just get a regular piece of thread, and you want to stick it right about here, and then put it through here. Then you want to do the same thing with all the other stitches, and put it right back through here, so that this bit covers the top of the knot, so that it doesn't hurt you when you're wearing the hat.
Like this.
Then you just continue to stitch from here all the way down until the straw runs out. And once you get to about here, you just run the needle through here and then out the other side through the hat. Then you just chop this bit off. Now the reason why I do this is so that there's a proper connection between the crown part of the hat and the brim. Because the way the straw hat is designed is weird. The brim, like its weave, is perpendicular to the crown. Normally stitching a straw hat, the weave would go in the same direction throughout the entire hat. But this one's different. If you don't stitch it over the top of this one, and it won't be connected.
So once you finish that part of the brim, you can just keep continuing the rest of the crown, just with a regular stitch. And if you feel the hat is deforming too much, you can always just steam it a bit and then reshape it to your liking, or just to maintain its shape. So one thing I did notice, which is pretty important, is when you start working on the brim from this point, part of the brim actually can become part of the crown. And the brim does start to kind of wave like this, but it's an easy fix. You just wet it a bit and then you put some weights on it. This can also happen too, but again, it's an easy fix. You just give it a bit of moisture and then, yep, shape it with some weights. So if you are giving the hat some moisture, you do want to make sure it completely dries before you keep adding more straw. This is just to make sure the shape doesn't, muck up too much. I do leave it like overnight just to make sure it's completely dry and it maintains its shape. And if whatever you're using as a weight has rust on it, or if it's made of metal, just put some plastic in between it. I learned this the hard way. It gave some spots in the hat, which you don't want. But yeah, you just keep working on the brim until that part's finished. And yeah, because some of the brim did creep up into the crown, I did have to put a very, very thin layer of straw just to finish it up and just make it all clean. So this is the completed base hat. All that's left is just to add that iconic red ribbon. So these next bits here are completely optional, but I'm pretty sure if you'd like to do it, it's just the hat strap and the inner lining. You can follow along visually with this one. So here's the final product. I know this video has been a bit abrupt, probably a lot of details are missing, but if there are any questions that you have, just leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to try and answer some of them. Yeah, and I'm just going to show you a few more clips and videos of the final product.